I think I was about 6 years old at the time when it was revealed to me that I was adopted, and not in the conventional sense. I found out I was adopted by a phone call that I had late one night. I recall the voice. I know the voice. It was very familiar. It was my granddad's, my dad's second wife. So it was her, and her message, or her, what she said was, and I'll quote, "Do not ever come back to my house, you little adopted black bitch." I cried. I started crying. I remember going into the room and I cried, but not because I felt rejected by my biological parents, but I cried because the love that they had given me in the 6 years of growing up, I wanted to be their own. I wished I was their own biological child, if that makes sense.
Now that you're doing, what you love, what does healing and justice look like for you when you see somebody else going through what you have?
Taking care of healing, as in taking care of yourself, like really looking inward, and it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and it's messy. It's really messy to dig deep to find out. In order to heal yourself, you need to know what you're hurting from and what's been hurting you. Accepting all of the things that has hurt you, and embrace it. Because if you don't embrace who you are, nobody else is going to. Journaling helps me heal. Meditation helps me heal. Listening to music helps me heal. You're so busy building a world for yourself, a better world for yourself and for others, that the negativity doesn't affect you anymore. And that's the justice that you can get, if that's what you're meaning, justice from the bullies and by the bullies and stuff.
Yeah.
So, the critics, and that's the one way of getting justice, is to be so busy building your own empire and making the world a better place for other people. And by creating your own life, you are adding value to the world. You will transform other lives with your story.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Zen Now. And on today's episode, we're joined by Shainaaz Dawood Singh, who has faced bullying, depression, and a life-changing diagnosis, but she turned her pain into purpose. From self-doubt to self-love, this is a story of rising strong. Let's dive in with Shainaaz.
Thank you so much. I feel so honored and privileged to be here.
You're welcome. And, we're always looking for inspirational people to tell their stories so that they can just help others as well along the journey.
I think you have an exceptional platform, and I hope, I know a lot of people you've had a positive impact on a lot of people already.
Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it. Shainaaz, so can you take us back to the early beginnings of, being adopted and, what that meant to you growing up?
Okay. I think I was about 6 years old at the time when it was revealed to me that I was adopted, and not in the conventional sense. My mom was a dressmaker and my dad was a building contractor, and they were, like I said, they're my living gods. They're the reason I am who I am today. I found out I was adopted by a phone call that I had late one night. My dad and I were watching TV, we were watching cricket, and the phone rang. So like any 6-year-old, you'd run to answer the phone to see who that is. And I thought it was strange that it was around 11 or so, if I can remember correctly. And it was I answered, and I recall the voice. I know the voice. It was very familiar. It was my granddad's, my dad's second wife. My grandmother had passed away, so my granddad had remarried. And we had visited him that day, earlier on that day. So it was her, and her message, or her, what she said was, and I'll quote, "Do not ever come back to my house, you little adopted black bitch." And then she put the phone down. So I went back into the room where I was watching TV with my dad, and I told him I was 6. So I told him what she had said word for word, not realizing that I was using vulgarity in front of my dad. I just said exactly what she said. So he told me to go to bed and not to worry about anything. And then the next day, it was the next day where my mom and I were cleaning the kitchen. And then she decided to tell me that, I am adopted. And I remember her crying. And she said that I must not feel bad. They loved me, and I was adopted, and they will love me forever. And I am her biological child. As far as she's concerned, I am her biological child. And I cried. I started crying. I remember going into the room and I cried, but not because I felt rejected by my biological parents, but I cried because the love that they had given me in the 6 years of growing up, I wanted to be their own. I wished I was their own biological child, if that makes sense. But apart from that, you know, there was no form of regret or rejection that I felt from my biological parents. And so that also opened up a lot of questions for me as to who I am, who I came from, who I look like. There's a lot of questions. Everybody says I look like my dad, which I do. And I can see a lot of me and him and me and him, so.
Yeah.
But a lot of things were opened up, a lot of questions that I had. And I think that carried throughout my life. But that shaped me into who I am, knowing that I'm adopted, but I was born into parents who loved me so much, and they overcompensated, should I say, for not being their own, with love.
Yeah.
And I was not a spoiled child, but I did get everything that I wanted and I needed. So, I remember there were times, like 2, 3, a lot of things stick out in my memory, but 2 things in particular that really stick out is when I was about 6 or 7, I went for an eye operation. I had to have eye surgery done because I was squint. So, I couldn't look, I could see perfectly well, but my pupils weren't both looking in the same direction. So my dad said that he would send me for eye surgery because he didn't want me growing up being bullied and teased, because children are very cruel, and even adults as well. So he didn't, and then he wanted me to one day get married as well because, there was a lot of things that he thought about. And that, in hindsight now, looking back, the love that they had given me. Also, I remember when I was 6, as well, I think 6, between 6 and 8, a consultant came home selling books, and it was the Childcraft encyclopedia books.
Oh yeah.
And back then, do you know?
Yeah, I remember those.
Yeah. So I didn't know the value of money then. I didn't know that things are expensive, or I just knew that I wanted the books, and I wanted it, and I wanted it. And my dad, we came from a low to middle income earning home, so finances weren't that great, but he bought the book for me and bought the encyclopedias for me. And I remember invoices coming home or statements coming home with the figure, and I overheard a conversation with my mom and dad, and saying that it's tough, but they'll make it work and stuff. So yeah, that's
Wow.
really good memories of my parents.
Yeah. Firstly, I just want to commend you for that moment in time when you heard that. I think a lot at 6 years old. I think some kids are a bit intuitive, some aren't, and I know you won't probably recall what that feeling really meant or what it meant. But have you in your adult life have you sat with that now and try and kind of figure out what that really meant at the time, or how did you feel at the time?
I yeah. I actually, I think about it often because I look at parents. I look at children today with their parents, and I wonder what it would have been like if I were with my uh, biological parents. And but I think it's a bless for me. It's a blessing that I was given up to have been adopted by the people that did take me in and give me the life that they have given me. But it's also, I feel like a void. Like I feel
Mm,
a part of me is missing. I'd love to know more about who my biological parents are, and like just to know who they are and where
yeah,
I come from and their background. A part of me wanted to find out. Um, a part of me wants to find out, and a part of me doesn't.
right,
I know I go out to a lot of places. I'm always out and about, and many times I can't count the number of times that somebody has approached me and said, "Are you related to so and so? Do you know so and so? You look so much like so and so." And I'm like,
right,
it's a possibility. It could be. I mean, you could be my brother. Who knows?
yeah, exactly.
But yeah, there is a lot that I feel a void, but I don't feel a void really because my parents filled it. But the curiosity is still there.
Correct.
And but yeah, I'm glad it came out in the way it did and the way it's supposed to come out, I suppose. I believe in the universe and I believe everything happens for a reason. I believe that people cross paths for a reason, be it for a little while, be it for a lesson, be it for a life-changing, altering experience. But every single action happens because it's meant to happen.
Yeah, that's elevation of mindfulness because you understand everything happens for a reason and you don't kind of dwell too much on what's not working and you kind of focus more on the positive side. And I think just one thing you said, and I just wrote it down before I forget it. I think your biological parents were just vessels of transport for you to get to your current parents who actually showed you what love is. Not
Yeah,
just not just showed up, but showed you. And in because that's such a rare thing where most of us didn't really see love in the way that we should have seen it as kids. And I thank your parents, your current parents, who actually were there and took care of you. They showed you what love is. And I
yeah.
think your biological parents were just vessels for you to you know to be transported to
Correct.
the next. If you
Correct.
know what I'm saying.
Correct. Absolutely. Absolutely. My mom, the reason they adopted actually, they've tried. They've tried like several times and
Okay.
she had miscarriages. And then eventually the doctor said that if she has to try again, it would be like detrimental or fatal to
Mm.
her health. So they stopped trying and then they decided to adopt. And I'm glad they did.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I felt emotional just really listening to that and the resilience that you've shown now that coming onto this platform and sharing it. I think it will resonate with so many people who actually are in that position. And these kind of stories do go a long way. So thank you for sharing that. And I know sometimes you do feel that void of wanting to know, and that's normal. That's absolutely normal. Nobody should tell you otherwise or how to feel otherwise because they're not in your shoes. So they don't know what that feels like.
Yeah.
So that
I would never, I
curiosity is
would, I,
totally valid.
thank you. I wanted to ask them. There were times when I wanted to ask my parents, but I would never. I'm an empath and I'm a Cancerian, so
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a blessing or a curse. But I always look at a different a person's perspective. From their perspective, what they would feel, or how they would feel, or how they would think. So I never ever asked them anything. about my biological parents at all. I would to risk them feeling they were not enough, to risk them feeling that I'm not happy or any of that. I never did. And being born into an Indian family,
Yeah.
it's very taboo to speak about this. And yeah, but you know, if anything, I would change. It would be to be their biological child.
From the offset.
If anything, I would. Yeah.
Okay. Any extended family from your biological side ever reach out?
No, to this day, no, no one has. I
Okay.
know the surname. That I've seen the surname on my adoption papers, and but I've gone onto Facebook and I've looked up the name, right,
Okay.
and I've seen so many. Oh yeah. um,
It's okay.
I've come across so many names, and I go and I look at their faces and to try and see if there's like a resemblance of any kind. Um, but no, no one has reached out, and I haven't either. I have
Okay.
contemplated reaching out to a few that I have seen on Facebook, but then that would be so weird, right? A random stranger asking about, do you know of anybody that was given up for adoption 42 years ago? Or,
Mm.
that would be really strange. So I just haven't. I've put it out there. If I'm meant to cross paths with somebody from my biological family, then it will happen. And if it doesn't happen, then it's just not meant to happen.
Yeah, you said that perfectly well. And we touched on it earlier. What is meant to be will be. The universe will provide when it's needed the most. It feels like a movie. When we watch those movies, Hollywood movies of kids getting adopted and trying to find their adopted or their biological parents. Apologies. And at the end, kind of some do find it, and some just get closure by accepting that the life that they're currently living is the life they were meant to live.
Correct.
And I think
Yeah.
you're kind of grappling with the two right now. If correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes. No, I am. I am. Sometimes, because I would love to. Um, no, I've always, my entire life, I loved a big family. And, I'd love to have brothers and sisters and nieces and nephews. And, I suppose, with my parents passing away, I've, my husband is my family. He is my godsend. He is my everything. And his parents as well. They are absolutely supportive and loving and kind and caring. And, they are family. But, at the same time, because it's biological, I'd love to know the history. I'd love to know the
Right.
history of the people that, conceived me.
Yeah, for sure. No,
So,
definitely. I hear you. I hear you.
but one thing I'd like to say to your listeners is, if you cannot have children, and there are plenty of children in this world that need a loving home, the best thing that you can do is to adopt a child. And you may not be able to give them everything financially, but giving them that love and that sense of belonging can literally save a child's life. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
We've had this discussion, myself and my wife. But we look at circumstances like yours and we feel rage, we feel angered because why do people who actually want kids cannot have kids and have to go through such a rigorous process to actually give somebody or give a child a loving home? Whereas like people like, you know, or given up, kids that are given up are such that there's no repercussions for that. Why do they just get to do what they want to do and then just hand it off? But here's somebody who's actually want a child, cannot have a child and has to go through X, Y, and Z. It just doesn't make sense. I'm sorry, but that's just the way we feel about it. It just doesn't make sense.
agree. I totally, totally agree. There are women in this world, like my mom, who wanted a child so badly and couldn't. Like she physically couldn't. And she tried to a point where, it affected her health so badly. Um, I mean, she adopted. And then you get, uh, I know a lot of women who, um, abuse alcohol and abuse drugs and they fall pregnant, and they have kids. And the environment that the kids grow up in is so toxic. But, and they neglect their children. And it's not fair. It isn't.
Yeah,
Like you said, it
just
just
doesn't
isn't
make
fair.
sense.
No, it doesn't.
But thankfully, you're given a loving home. You're giving an safe space to be with somebody that you love. And I think those kids that don't have that kind of yearn for that. And
Mhm.
should anybody be thinking about adoption, maybe it's something that they should seriously consider after listening to your story as well.
No, absolutely. And my husband and I also spoke about it as well.
Yeah.
And we are trying. We do
Okay.
want to have a baby of our own. And we also want to long term financially, if finances permit, but it's a goal that we're working towards. We'd love to have a, an orphanage. I feel like I've been a lucky one. I feel like I've been lucky, and I want to have a safe place or place where we do take in kids and take care of kids and give them a home and a sense of belonging. So, just I want to pay it forward because I feel I was given a second chance. I don't
Yeah.
know where I would have ended up, what would have become of me, if I went in this loving home. And I just want to give the children a chance as well.
I mean, it's your calling end of the day.
Maybe? Yes.
Yeah, your soul had to go through whatever it had to go through to get to a point where now you know what you want to do in life and give back. And that's so
Yes.
underrated in this day and age because not a lot of people are searching for purpose and most people don't find it. So I think it's a
Yeah.
blessing as well that you kind of know what you want to do going forward. And that's awesome. Similar to myself as well, going through so many of the the traumatic experiences, it just builds you up to get to that point where you find your purpose.
I think that's really important. It makes you think on a far greater, grander scale that when you were born into this world, you were born with a purpose. You just had to go through these adversities and difficulties and to realize that it's something far greater than just that trial and tribulation that you're going through. You are going to actually impact lives, and your mere existence isn't coincidence.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah.
You mentioned something about the harsh stereotype societal realities that you face. What were some of the most difficult things that you had to endure, and how did it impact your your early onset life?
Oh, well, growing up, um, I was a dark, chubby child and a dark skin, and I was a chubby child. So, it was really difficult for me because kids were very cruel. They called me names like Blackie and Fatty and Piggy, and they would make fun of me. They would I was called Midnight and ugly, and it was children would make fun of me. And at school, it was especially in primary school, it was much younger. Um, I found it difficult I didn't know. I tried really hard to be friends with everyone, and but no matter what I did, my appearance seemed to affect people. The way I looked seemed to affect people, and children and even adults. I remember one aunt saying to me, uh, "You're dark, but you have good features." So I don't know how to process that. Is that a compliment or is that an insult? Or are you saying I'm pretty? I don't know. I didn't So I know being dark was not a good thing at all. And it did affect me. My skin color affected me. It affected my confidence. Um, I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to uh, participate in anything. I was not chosen. I was always the last to be chosen for
Mm.
anything, be it sports activities or anything. I mean, the stereotype of when you're overweight, people automatically assume that you're stupid. Uh,
Mm.
that's what I felt. People felt that, okay, she's dumb. She doesn't know much of anything. And being an empath and a Cancerian, it affected me throughout my life because I'm so conscious of energy. I'm so conscious of uh, people's um, people's energy, their persona, their attitude, their gestures. It's just I'm so in tune with all of it. So I prepared myself. Like whenever I went out or whenever I did something, I know, okay, this is coming. They're going to say something. They're going to comment about my weight. And it was also
Mm.
about the food. I wasn't a big eater as a child, but I was chubby, right? And whenever I would eat, I'd get comments like eat out, outside at a function. I'd get comments about don't eat too much. You need to lose weight. And going back and looking back, I was chubby, but I wasn't overweight. And even
Mm.
throughout my teenage years as well, I wasn't overweight to, just for someone to justify saying that to me. And when I look at my pictures now, I want to go back and now understand them because now I'm overweight because of my, addiction. And but back then I wasn't. So it affected my confidence. And then I started using a tactic of making fun of myself first before they would. So I would
uh,
I'd say something about my skin color or I'd say something about my weight. So then they'd laugh it off and then it would be okay. So that,
mm.
it was like a tactic I created to prevent being hurt or
Right,
hearing
right,
something hurt.
right.
Yeah. So
It's like that movie.
that's
Have you ever watched Pitch Perfect?
no, not no, I haven't.
No. Uh, so it's with Anna Kendrick and what's her name? The Australian girl. Her name. But
The blonde one. I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes, yes. So in that show, her character is called Fat Amy. But
Okay.
before, her name is not Fat Amy, obviously, but she describes herself as Fat Amy because, like you said, before anybody could turn around and talk behind her back and make fun of her, she would come out and say, "This is who I am," up front, so everybody nips it in the bud there and there.
Yeah.
So it's a similar thing like what you've done. You went out and you like called, you said, okay, I have certain features that are like this, and people would just, oh, okay, I don't need to say it now. She knows it, like kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I still to this day do that. I still do that to this day. Like, I'll
But
go
you
somewhere
shouldn't.
and
You shouldn't.
yeah, I shouldn't. I suppose
Yeah.
I it does affect me to some level.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mostly. But I think I'm so conditioned to doing that I do tend to do
Right.
that every now and again. Yeah.
I mean, you're beautiful in your own right, and nobody should ever judge you for your looks and that. Because I myself was subjected to a lot of bullying because of my physical appearance in school as well. And I reiterate this, like high school was probably the most difficult time of my upbringing, of my adolescence years, where I was continuously bullied because I had probably a slightly larger nose than everybody, or maybe because I had a bit of extra hair or whatever it was, and I didn't understand it. Why? Why was I the one chosen to be treated this way? And I never wanted to go to school merely for that fact, but I showed up anyway, knowing that I had to be there because I had to get my matric completed
Yes.
and so I can get on with my life. But it wasn't very nice. It wasn't. Kids are just hindsight, setting at it now, looking at back now. It's just a reflection of how they were feeling at the time of inadequacy and things that were going on in their home that they weren't processing. It wasn't it wasn't because of my physical appearance that they felt that they needed to make you feel bad about yourself. It was something within themselves that was lacking. Understand?
Correct. I
Yeah.
agree. I totally
But it
agree.
still hurts.
I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does, especially when you're not the type of person to actually critique someone naturally or,
Mm.
be judgmental, especially when you're not that type of person. And you get this subjected to you. It affects you a lot. And I've, like I said in the past, I'm sorry, by the way, that you had to go through that. I know exactly what you felt. I know exactly what you felt. And I am sorry that you had to go through that. Um, the famous saying is hurt people hurt people. And I believe that's true to some degree, but I also believe that hurtful people hurt people too. We can make excuses for people, or we can try and justify why people do things. But sometimes some people genuinely go through adversities themselves, and they don't know how to cope with their
Yes.
challenges that they're facing, so they lash out at other people. And sometimes there are just people in this world who feel better by putting somebody else down, and they just feel better by putting somebody else down. And so, we this world. My dad said to me once that this world is full of so many different types of people, and each person is going to give you an experience. It could either be a good one or a bad one, but what you choose to take away from that experience will define who you are as a person.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this short break.
Before we continue with today's episode, if you're enjoying it, if I could ask you for a small favor, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It will not only help the channel grow, but it will also allow me to bring you a lot more guests and a lot more experiences. Thank you. Back to the show.
And that stuck with me like forever. My dad was like really learned. He was a very intelligent person, and those were his words to me. So I took that also with me, along the journey of my life, and I realized also that everyone reacts differently to different situations, and people are wired differently. It's how we
for sure.
react, and
Also, I think also your community that you grow up around plays a huge part in how you treat other people. Because if you come from that aggressive, unemotional type environment where you have to survive, so you bring that into other societal interactions, and we become like the stray bullet kind of, in a way.
yes, yeah.
But it shapes you. It shapes you for lifetimes. It shapes you.
It does.
You can either choose to step up or wallow, and that's where where they say choose which yellow brick road you want to go down. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. No, absolutely. And at the same time, when the choice that you make, I found from personal experience, when I was bullied by bullies in school, in primary school, eventually I have the ability, I don't know what it is, but I tend to attract people that have emotional problems, that are going through emotional situations, and people confide in me. They tell me their problem, and I love helping them in that sense. And for me, over time in school, the bullies became my friends. I reached out to them on that level. And as a child, I was still I want to be your friend. And eventually they softened. So, and even a few in high school as well. So
Right.
I have that ability to reach out to people and try and connect with them, because everyone is hurting at some level,
Yeah.
So, um, not everyone is bad in this world.
No, 100%. I think the word you're looking for is resonation. They resonate something within you that's within themselves,
Correct.
and they never knew how to just express it. But now in hindsight, they probably have gone through something so traumatic in their life. Now they need somebody to resonate with. But back in the day, they were quick to just judge you for your appearance. Doesn't make sense. So the universe works in beautiful ways where we just can't understand it.
No, absolutely. And people are quick to judge. I'm sure I've done it. I'm sure I've done it in my life.
For sure.
When we didn't know any better. And it's not a good thing to judge, because it's just, you don't know. And then you feel bad when you do find out exactly what's going on with that person. And so you never, ever judge a book by its cover, ever.
Yeah.
That saying can never be overused, I suppose.
No, it's. I think it will one that will be talked about for eons to come, because it's so profound. You can look at it in many different ways.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, we've probably done it as well. I mean, we've probably judged. We still do, and it's just part of human nature. We can't suppress all the bad things about us. It's not how it works.
Yeah. And I'm sure your listeners as well, if they are they are going through or have kids or they've been bullied in their lives, I'm sure they've taken something away from it. Or if they haven't, they can take away the fact that it only makes you stronger, and it makes you realize that this is not how to treat somebody. This is not how somebody should be treated. And just know that no person deserves to be bullied. No one deserves to be bullied.
No,
or made to
not at
feel
all.
inferior, or made to feel ugly. No one's ugly. No one is ugly. There's no person is ugly. And we're all beautiful. We all have beautiful souls. And this body is just a carrier. It's just a vessel. It's a mechanical flesh suit.
Exactly.
Our spirit is what makes us beautiful. Our spirit is what makes you beautiful. You can be skinny, you can be fair, you can be what society deems beautiful. The skinny, the fair, the full lips. So but you can be a horrible person. You can treat people badly. You can treat animals badly. You can just be nasty. Doesn't make you beautiful. So it's who you are and how you treat people that makes you beautiful.
And yes, we do want to make ourselves beautiful all the time, given the fact that for us, like gentlemen, a fresh haircut just makes us feel good, even though we're not looking like we're not dressed dressed well, but a fresh haircut will just make us feel good. And for like females, like putting a nice shade of makeup or something just to make you feel good, so that you can also start working with your inner self, just to heal. So both go hand in hand. So I think that message is very important, that what they are trying to convey is not actually how they're trying to make you feel. It's actually how they feel inside within themselves.
And I suppose we can also play our role as, as victims of being bullied. We can play our role by reaching out to, being understanding or being compassionate to what the other person is going through, and understand from their side as well, and not take it personally. It's not a personal attack. It's just a blurred reflection of the person that's doing the judging or the criticism.
Right, exactly. I mean, in hindsight, looking back, what's the difference between who society told you to be versus who you truly are?
Society wanted me to be skinny and fair, and society wants, well, not just me, every single dark-skinned, chubby girl. Society expects you to be a Barbie doll, expects you to be perfect, in their sense, perfect. And we try to live up to that expectation. And in doing so, we lose ourselves. We lose who we are as individuals. We lose who we are as we lose our uniqueness. And I lost that for a while because I wanted to please people, and I wanted, I was a yes person. And if anybody asked me for anything, I would say yes, so that I would be liked, I would be accepted, I would be in the circle. And I lost my identity. And saying yes meant staying up late nights doing homework for half the school, half the
Oh, wow.
students at school. Yeah, I used to do homework. I used
No,
to,
why?
not math. I wasn't a fan of math, but bio, accounting, English, bio, accounting, English, geography. I did homework for a lot of so weekends. I loved reading. Reading's my passion, and I loved academics. So in school, I loved my school. I love schoolwork, so I would always do that, and I would always be in a constant state of anxiety. I was not happy. I was not happy. So that I lost myself. And so that's what I was doing to live up to society's expectation of me. And then I started to dig deep and realize who I was and learn about me and learn that it was okay to say no. It was okay to not be liked by everybody. It was okay that somebody didn't like my dark skin or somebody thought I was fat. It was okay. It was okay. So, slowly I got to know me, and gradually I got to like me. I was not angry with myself anymore. And, and when I used to get angry with myself, I'd go for food. Food was my comfort. I love to eat. I used to eat when I was angry. I used to eat when I was happy. I used to eat when I was sad. It became my drug.
Right.
My dopamine. And and gradually I learned to accept that Shaz is Shaz, and I'm a loving person. I will give you all love. I'd love to make you feel good about yourself. My motto is leave people better than you found them. And if you don't like me, and if you think I'm ugly, and if you think I don't fit into your box of being perfect, it's so be it.
Move on.
Yeah.
No, I think we cut from the same cloth as well. Like growing up as well, very people pleaser orientated. Myself, always wanted to be liked because we go through those experiences. Because we feel inadequate, we feel like we're out of place. Hence why you just want to be liked by everybody, but we don't like everybody, so it goes both ways.
I learned that also only recently. I think in the past 2 years, because of what had happened to me not so long ago. I realized that maybe if I walk into a room, maybe and instead of worrying about what if they would like me, maybe what if I don't like them?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, and that I heard that somewhere, and that was like, okay, that actually makes a lot of sense. Or why do I have to depend on somebody liking me? What if, and it has a lot of people I've come across, and my energy did not resonate with their energy. My morals, ethics, and values weren't aligned with theirs. So I didn't say anything harsh to them. I wasn't critical or judgmental. I just, we have different paths. You do you and I'll do me. But it's not always about people wanting to like, or you needing somebody to like you. It's about
Exactly.
loving yourself and being comfortable with the fact that you love yourself, whether somebody else likes you or not.
There's just something off topic. I was just came to mind when you were saying, people were targeting your skin color or making fun of it. But think about it. Dark chocolate is a superfood. People consume it. Dark clothes are slimming. People use it to make themselves feel good. So, it's just something that came to mind. I was like, people can try and use one element of it to make you feel bad, but they use it to improve themselves.
Oh, I don't. Maybe I should say this. My dad said this to me once. I can't remember what the situation was, but it had to do with somebody, saying something about my skin, and he said to me that, and it's normally the fair skinned in my community, amongst the Indian community. It was my family who were fair skinned would comment on my dark skin color, and I remember my dad saying to me, a black spot on me is called a beauty spot, but a white spot on me would be called a rash. So, uh,
I love your dad.
so I mean, he said that to make me feel better, but I'm like, okay, that did make me.
That's so empowering, like to have your dad be there for you in that way, instead of just criticizing you as well. Because it's easy for parents to do that, because they probably don't want you to feel outcasted. So they make you. They'll probably I know some parents would probably do like the most extravagant things or most outrageous things to improve their kids' physical appearance, or make them go through rigorous surgeries and stuff like that to make them feel good. But your parents accepted you for who you are. That's so important in this day and age, because I see it nowadays with the current generation. They're lacking that parental guidance.
Yeah, it's become superficial. Today, in today's society, everything is so superficial. And beauty is superficial. Everything, the fake is being revered or is being valued much more than realism and authenticity. The more fake you are, the more you are acknowledged and valued and appreciated. So, we need to change that mentality of society.
Speaking of change, your advocacy work with Nolan, how did that come about? Where did that start?
Nolan has been a pivotal, vital, integral part of my well-being, mental, psychological, emotional, spiritual well-being. We met on Facebook, and we just started following each other. And I remember doing a show, and he was like actively supporting me and sharing my feeds and encouraging me because of the charity work that I do as well. And we just connected on that level. And he had run this program called the Napoleon Hill program, and he offered me a seat on that to do the course with him, and I did, but due to some reasons we didn't get to finish the course, and we just kept in contact, and I admired his resilience and his determination. The adversity that he's been through in his life is a living testimony to someone not giving up. You don't give up, because you can overcome all your adversities and you can be successful in the sense of impacting lives, empowering lives. And, he found his value. He had to dig deep. And using his experience, the gift that he's given the world now is his teachings and his book, the Millennial Success Code that he's recently released, which to me is my go-to. I mean, I have it with me all the time. I take it with me wherever I go, and I speak to people about it, because everything that he encapsulated in his book is what he's been through and what helped him overcome his obstacles to get him where he is today in impacting lives. And the role he's played in my life, he constantly reminds me of my worth. He constantly reminds me that I'm here. I have a purpose, and my purpose is to fill my cup. And only then can I help others. And only then can I, create an impact in this world. He's a constant reminder that I need to take care of myself first before, because he knows I want to do so many things for so many different people, and I tend to forget myself.
Yeah,
And
100%.
so he's actually, I'm working with him at the moment, and we're doing quite a few projects together. So he has played a really pivotal role in my life.
It's like a guardian light that came across your Facebook page. Yeah.
Absolutely. And, you know,
But-
I seem to have this thing with social media as well, because Nolan is absolutely phenomenal. I met him on social media. I met my husband on social media as well.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, and we together 15 years, 16 this year.
Congratulations.
And that was, thank you, on social media. And, you know, I'm being blessed with the support system that I have.
Mm.
And it's absolutely amazing. It's really crucial. Like you said earlier, the community that you are around. You need to be in a positive environment, and you need to have people who value you and appreciate you, and bring out the strength, bring out your authenticity, bring out your strong points, and make you see your worth. Because
Exactly.
if you don't, it makes it even more difficult to actually achieve anything.
Right. For those who missed the episode with Nolan, go to my podcast. The link is below. Listen to his story. It's truly inspirational. And check out his book as well. Links
The
below, also
millennial
in the
success
description.
code.
Yes, the Millennial Success Code. A lot of resources in there to help you along. So check it out. But Shainaaz, do you have like a mindful practice that keeps you grounded?
Meditation. Meditation is, and have you heard of Jose Silva, the Silva Mind Technique, Mind
No,
Control?
no.
I'll send you
Okay,
the information.
please do.
Yes, it's absolutely amazing. I'm a great manifester. I believe in manifesting, and I have manifested quite a few things. I've manifested my husband. I've manifested Nolan, and now you as well. You know, and mindfulness. So I practice mindfulness is something that's new to, well, it's not new to me, but I'm not, I've struggled with consistency. Like, I've dabbled in a lot of things, and then I stopped. So, meditation for me is really, it keeps me grounded. It brings me back to who I am whenever I'm anxious, or when I'm nervous, or um, just sad or depressed. Meditation always brings me back to me, and brings me to that space where I am, at my optimal again, where I'm reminded of who I am and reminded of my purpose. So I'm an avid follower of Jose Silva's The Outer Mind technique, and it's really helped me a lot. Also, journaling. I journal every day. I've journaled in times when I'm not in the proper mindset, when I'm going through something. I'll still journal, and I'll put in my affirmations, and that's helped me a lot as well. Music also is something that I go to when I'm feeling down, and especially, I'm old school. I think I'm born in the wrong era altogether. I really love the old 70s and 80s Hindi and even English music. So that is it also reminds me of my parents, the 70s and 80s. Growing up, that's what I listened to. So that is my go-to when um whenever. It's my
Nice.
go-to always.
Speaking of music, we've been going to a lot of cafes and restaurants, and people are actually going back to playing 80s, 90s R&B, hip hop, because the sound is pure. Current day and age sound doesn't hit as hard as or emotionally as those did, because they spoke about their stories, and they speak it. You live through their experiences through the artist.
Correct. Correct. It is. It is. It's soulful. It had meaning back then. Today, I think it's lost it's lost its meaning. The lyrics have no. A lot of people cannot resonate. It's with the lyrics and the songs, and even the beat and the rhythm. It's just there's just something soulful about old school.
Yeah. Look, I mean, Gen Z would resonate with today's current day and age music because that's their era, that they understand it. Certain things like the way we also spoke to our friends, they won't understand how we spoke to certain slang words, certain things. They won't understand it, but we do. So I guess generationally they'll understand it because we're always trying to make them aware of the fact that what we had was better. But yeah, maybe it was better, but maybe you have it better now. But you won't know because you weren't brought up in that era. And we just grew up with what was available to us at that time. And we resonated with it. That's it.
Correct. I'm sure when you listen to a song now from the 80s and 90s, it brings back a memory, a childhood.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And it makes you feel good. It takes you back. I'm also very nostalgic as well. I like I am very nostalgic. So I love a lot as much as I practice mindfulness, I always tend to go back and I reminisce about my childhood with my family, my parents, and also that also gives me comfort. It brings me comfort. So listening to the old school music does bring me comfort and reminds me of happier days back then.
For sure. I've been collecting music since the early 2000s, and I think I still have my playlists from back then, which I just now, imported it onto digital workspaces. But I used to burn a lot of CDs and collect music. But the sound I always was attracted towards electronic music, but all kinds of music. I listen to R&B, old school. So the chutney music from back in the day, those kind of things, it resonated with us because we lived in those environments and the people around us listened to it. When you go to a 21st, something, there's like certain songs that had to be played all the time.
Yep. Yes.
It's like that.
I know. What was your favorite?
My favorite, which genre?
Hindi.
Oh, Hindi. I mean, I think whatever people like to listen to, I think maybe the 90s and 2000s, early that. But my granny used to play a lot of the Lotus FM back in the day. So we used to listen to a lot of the old music as well. And I still remember them growing up because it was on the radio all the time. But I listen to all kind of music, rock, acid, EDM, R&B, pop, whatever it is. But there's just some sounds that just stay with you. And that's your go-to when you're feeling like you need to have a little bit of an uplifting mood. And if anybody's listening to this, I think music is one of those avenues that really brings you back to grounding when you're kind of like feeling anxiety. It's part of the medium or one of the tools that really helped me. And I'm sure it's a lot like yourself. It's like now you're the second person that came on the podcast to say, music has really helped you when you're feeling a bit anxious.
No, it has. Also, my dad he came from Islamic background and my mom came from a Hindi background. And I have an events company with my husband. It's called Garam Masala Productions. And what we do is we infuse, we have shows and it's called Infusion. So it's Infusion 1, 2, and 3. The next one would be Infusion 3.0 Reloaded, where we bring together these two communities, so the Hindi community and the Islamic community. So we've got flash entertainers. They call flash entertainers from Durban that we have. It's a Nagara. And we have a Qawwali group. And the Qawwali group is a local group. I love empowering local artists as well. So we love doing that. So I'm giving them a platform to showcase their talent. So we bring them together one night. It's an event that lasts about 7 hours.
Wow.
Where it's 7 hours. The first half is the Islamic part. It's the Qawwali. And this is a transcendental, mesmerizing, immersive, soulful journey that we take the audience on with the Kawali. You like lose yourself in this music. And then that's for the first half. And the second half is the Nagara, where it's an upbeat, it's a dance. We open the dance floor. And,
Okay.
What fascinated me was we expected after the Islamic part is over, the Kawali group sings and it's over, they would leave. They don't. They stay right till the very end. And that is it's heartwarming to see because I love bringing people together. I love it.
Yeah.
So when we do that, when we do our shows and we bring these two groups of people together, we're uniting them. And, there's no segregation, there's no discrimination. And it's music again. So music has the power to bring people together.
Yeah. It's such needed in this day and age where we're fighting so many wars on each side. We need to bring people together, like you said, and music is one of those avenues. And you brought two sides of, two societal practice, two societies that have been fighting for so long together. So it's a beautiful thing that you're doing, and keep doing that because whoever wants to get involved, where can they get in touch with you about that?
I'm on Facebook as Shainaaz Dawood Singh, Instagram as well.
Yeah, I think these kind of platforms also help connect people with resources that they probably wouldn't have known about. So thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. Now that you're doing what you love, what does healing and justice look like for you when you see somebody else going through what you have?
For me, I think it would be taking care of your healing, as in taking care of yourself, like really looking inward. And it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and it's messy. It's really messy to dig deep to find out. In order to heal yourself, you need to know what you're hurting from and what's been hurting you. What caused what infliction you've been through in your life, and process that and deal with that, and accepting who you are as a person, as an individual, as accepting your appearance, accepting your character traits, your flaws, your personality, accepting all of the things that has hurt you, and embrace it. Because if you don't embrace who you are, nobody else is going to. You cannot expect somebody else to accept you and love you if you cannot love yourself, if you cannot accept who you are. And by nurturing yourself, by finding out what makes you happy, by doing things that would make you happy, something that I've learned and something that makes me happy is a process where I connect my thoughts with my emotions, and I put the two together, because it's physically impossible to think happy thoughts but feel sad, or to think happy thoughts but be angry. You can't. It's either or. You can't do both. So you have to align. For me, it's aligning my thoughts with my emotions and processing everything that I've been through and what I go through, and to help me heal. Journaling helps me heal. Meditation helps me heal. Listening to music helps me heal. Again, my husband is a great source of comfort and, wisdom and wealth. And when I go to him, he encourages me to be the best person that I am. He sees me for me, my soul. And that's really, really pivotal. And my mentor as well, Nolan. And, it's just a constant reminder to have these people, I would say, tools, as, to remind you and to help you heal. So as much as it is a process that you have to do on your own, having a support system is really important. And in terms of justice, I think by working on yourself and improving yourself and being so busy building your own empire that you don't hear the noise, you don't hear the critics, you don't entertain it. You're so busy building a world for yourself, a better world for yourself and for others, that the negativity doesn't affect you anymore. Yeah, that's the one way of getting justice, is to be so busy building your own empire and making the world a better place for other people. That, for me, is what justice is.
You shared something really powerful with me prior to the podcast. You said, "This is not my story. I create my story." And I think that resonates exactly what you just explained. We have our own journeys to all go on, and we have the opportunities, and we create our own stories. Nobody else can take that away from us. So I think I thought that was really powerful, and I think it resonated with a lot of us and myself as well. I think that statement alone is powerful.
Absolutely. Probably your listeners can also relate. They've the choices that they've made in their lives would either make you or break you. And the only person that is living your life is you. You live your life. You decide if somebody is going to make you upset, if somebody is going to make you happy, if you decide how you are going to feel, you decide on what you want to do with your life, and you decide if I want to be that 1% that wakes up every morning and goes on that bike ride, or goes for the jog, or sits and journals, or meditates, or get up and exercise. And if you want to become that 1% that actually who achieves things and follows through, with their goals and the vision and the life that they have for themselves, then they will succeed in whatever they decide to do. But it's a choice at the end of the day. You create your own life. And I could have given in to society's perception of me, and wallowed in self-pity, like you said earlier on. I could have become a horrible person, constantly criticizing other people, being nasty to other people, because that's what the world showed me when I was growing up as a child.
Right.
That I was ugly. So I could go around telling other little girls and boys that, oh, you're ugly. But no, that's not. You choose to take that and turn it into positivity. It's an active choice to create your own life. And by creating your own life, you are adding value to the world. You will transform other lives with your story. So you do create your own lives. And in a sense, you create a happier life for somebody, a happy life for someone else, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
By sharing your happiness and your joy.
No, Shainaaz, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Really inspirational, emotional in a way, because I've resonated with a lot of your story as well. But thank you so much for coming on, sharing your story, just showing us that there is light at the end of the tunnel, and to just keep pushing through no matter what. Just keep pushing every single day, just one step at a time. Be kind to yourself, and you've reminded all of us what resilience and perseverance looks like. So thank you.
You're most welcome. You're absolutely welcome. If there's anything that I would like to say or to your listeners, is never give up. Never give up on yourself. You owe it to yourself. You have one life. You owe it to yourself to live your best life. But if you don't take action, you're never going to achieve anything, because you are absolutely amazing and you deserve the best of everything. You are destined for greatness and you can achieve it.
Perfectly summed up. Thank you, guys. Remember to hit that like, subscribe, and share button. Comment. I'd love to know your thoughts about this episode. Also follow Shainaaz on her socials in the links below. Show her love and support. And until the next one, everyone, stay zen. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.